Welcome back to Sparrow Pod. I'm your host Umama, and today joining me is our special guest, Miss Madhumita ma'am, an impact presence coach, influence expert, and a storytelling specialist from IIM. Okay, Madhumita ma'am, let's settle this once and for all. Do all teachers really have superpowers, or is it just great body language disguised in magic?
A very good question. If you had asked me this 5 years back, I would have given a different answer. But now that I'm working and I'm learning more about body language, creating impact and influence, I think 60-40, 60% is how you carry yourself as a teacher. What impact are you creating on your student? It will lifelong. People won't remember what we taught because that's all available. People will remember how we impacted them. Students look 30 years back when I started my teaching career. I didn't know much. But later, throughout my journey, my students tell me, when we meet now, those who are doctors, there are some company CEOs, they're all abroad. When I meet them, they will tell me that, ma'am, we remember the sari you wore. We remember the dress you wore. I said, that stuck me. I said, how come? Then they told me, those days we were well groomed. When you used to come to class, we used to look forward to it. I said, oh my God, this really creates an impact. So I realized that it's very important how you come across, how you enter the class, how you engage, how you talk. Everything becomes a whole package, and that makes a good teacher.
Wow, those are wise words, ma'am. So you specialize in storytelling too. So tell us your own story. Was there a moment in your life when you realized the way you stand, move, or smile could completely change how people saw you?
It's interesting because you asked me this right now. It so happened that I was traveling from Bali and I was entering Saudi. Okay, I stay now in Riyadh. I was entering the immigration and suddenly they stopped me. They said that your visa has expired and you can't enter. I didn't know anything about it because I thought that I had a 1-year visa. And my husband had already crossed the immigration. He was not with me. So imagine in a country where the language is also a barrier. And I'm very new to the country. This was my only second visit, 3-month-old. And those people were not even ready to communicate with me. Just as said, visa, no, go back, like this with action. So I asked what happened, why? Because I knew that my visa is valid for a year. They said, over, 90 days over, go back to. That was the time when I had to use all my body language skills to get some information out of them. The first instinct was despair. Oh my God, now what will do? Suddenly I realized if I cry, if I'm sad, it's not going to affect any one of them at that point. I was on the verge of tears, but quickly pivoted to a smile. And then when you smile, they are not used to women smiling at immigration officers. They say, what is happening? I said, I know I have to go back to Dubai, but can you tell me what are the other ways? If I can apply, how do I come back? I said, no English. Can you call someone? They called somebody, a police officer who was well versed in English, and they sat me down and we really had conversation for 10 minutes. Otherwise, in this situation, if I had not pivoted and used my body language, my smile and gestures, not to cross the limit, because it's a very still an orthodox country about saying how you interact with people, in what culture you are, what kind of dress you're wearing, how much to talk to men. It's very important to gauge. I cannot be too friendly. I cannot be talking to people like I was in US recently. There my body language would be different, but here my body language would be different. So the kind of handling of situation I learned once I did all this. So all the tips which I share on my regular classes and regular workshops, I used on myself. And you really get a reply, a mirror from the person. So that's one incident which just come off my mind.
That's a wild story. So, In a world where half conversations are on Zoom or Insta, does body language still matter, or are emojis the new non-verbal communication?
I always get asked about this question a lot. Like, how does it matter, even body language? You know, AI can take everything from you, they're saying. What they can't take you is what you project as a person when you stand in front of somebody. It is you who will be judged, who will be interpreted. Creating an influence is the superpower now. You cannot create influence without knowing your body language. And influence is everything. Whether you are selling an idea, whether you're selling a product, whether you are in an interview, whether you are even speaking to your parents, friends, you are always trying to somehow get your idea to them. And that is the power of influencing. And that comes with a lot of other techniques, but one of them definitely is body language. So you need to do that in spite of what you said. In Zoom, you don't get to see people. But as I was discussing today, while you are across the camera, there are so many do's and don'ts, so many different techniques to create that impact, even if it's virtual. So these are to be learned. First is distance with the camera. How much distance you should sit. How much is your shoulder to head distance? You can't sit like this. You have to sit like this. So all this comes across even if you are virtual. So it will never go out of fashion. In fact, it is much more needed now than other, because people are forgetting this. So people are not using it.
Yeah. I will totally use this. So today we learned that confidence isn't just what we say, but how we show up. Presence is power, and smallest moves can make biggest impact. So you don't just enter a room, you arrive. Thank you.